Hello, I'm Ray.
And I'm Jenny, and we'll go over family reviews, and this was Ray's idea.
Thanks. Yeah, the kids did one where they picked 10 games. If we had to get rid of our collection, and we each could keep 10 games, which is different than a lot of people's challenges that they're doing around the internet. Most people have made it harder on themselves. However, when I brought that up, she did not like that. And then I said, okay, well, why don't we just keep the lists hidden, and then we can't get rid of, we have to deal with overlap. She said no. So this is, and what was the other thing? Oh yeah, I said, well, I'm not sure about, she said we're keeping expansions. So really this wasn't a huge challenge, but it was probably the hardest one I've had to pick, because really what I'm doing is not looking at my favorite games, but I'm looking at games that will get played, have a variety of types, and a variety within themselves. So it actually was pretty difficult.
Yeah, and he was still dithering as we were pulling games, so.
But, I'm going to start with the controversial in her mind. Blood Rage. Blood Rage is my area control one, but it's really got action selection. It's a great game, contrary to whatever you say. The alternative was Kiev. Rurik, Donna Kiev. And I like that game better, actually. But this one gets played a lot and has variety and is liked by most of our group.
I'm just the holdout, and we know it.
You don't mind it.
I don't mind it, but I don't like area control, and I don't like big, ugly miniatures. And I know everyone's going to say they're gorgeous. I don't like them.
Dude, the troll has a big nose. I will tell you, this one won out primarily because I know it gets to the table more. Like, it just does. So.
Then we got into that whole thing, well, we know other people in our group own it. Do we really,
But I'm not counting otherwise our list would have changed again, and I did not have it in me for that.
Okay, so this is Dominion. It doesn't look like Dominion, but it is Dominion. We actually have 2 boxes of these. And I like deck builders. And this one comes with a lot of variety. And the nice thing is base Dominion has some strategy, but it's pretty easy. But you have to keep track of buys, and you have to keep track of actions, which is more than a lot of the deck builders. If you play something like Power Play or Harry Potter, that doesn't factor in. So that's definitely a level that Dominion has, giving it some weight to it. And by the time you get to like Plunder, it's a pretty involved game.
Yeah.
And so you can play this as a pretty easy game to a more in-depth. Is it ever going to be a heavy game? No. But definitely some of the expansions add a lot of strategy and variety. So that was one of the reasons I picked Dominion as my deck builder. Now, again, we were debating because we play a lot of this on the app. I have all of Dominion on the apps.
So, and I got rid of a fair amount of this, but I kept the Movie Stills one, and I kept the Big Trouble in Little China, but Legendary, and we kept X-Files. Even before. But Legendary, and I debated, because there's a lot of deck builders I like.
And as a note, we're not getting rid of our collection. You've made me do this.
It made me think about what games are played so often. Like, an actual played by us in the group. So I think it was a good one. But Legendary, because it's got a ton of variety, even in this. I like the Movie Stills, I know. Don't hate me. Write your comments in the bottom how evil that is. And Big Trouble in Little China, I'm going to get the Venom and the Spider-Man one to go into that one. But honestly, this just has a lot of variety, and it is not difficult. It's got some things that go with it, but it's just not that difficult. So, it's my deck builder. There were a lot of options there.
Yep. Now this is an interesting one. This is Play 9. And one of the reasons this is what our family, like I play with my grandmother and mother all the time.
Yeah.
Like I probably played this 10 times in the last month. The kids play it. The adults play it. And we play it constantly. I actually just bought my mother another copy of it because we have copies literally everywhere. But the point is if you're thinking about games we're keeping, this is a game I would never get rid of because it gets played so much and by so many members of our family. So say what you will about some of these games. There is no strategy in this game. It's luck. But it's a great game to chat with. It's fun, and you can make fun of it. And you can actually play this with a deck of cards, but then you have to remember what the cards stand for. And this version, it has the -5s and zeros. It makes it really easy. So, but it's a game we play all the time.
We also play Ink and Gold fairly often. It's a press your luck. You're either choosing to keep going in to try and get more gems, or bolt and keep your gems. If 2 of the same hazard show up, you lose all your gems running out, screaming out of the dungeon, temple, whatever the thing is. It is great. It is fun. It is quick. And it's very similar to like Play 9 and the like. This one has some strategy, but not a ton. You're talking, you're laughing, and it's over in 15, 20 minutes.
We played this last game night, and he was debating between this and For Sale.
But we played this a lot.
We played that a lot more because it's a really good way to end the night.
Yep.
So, this is a game that Ray and I have played so much. This is San Juan. Ray loves dual-use cards.
Yep.
More than I do, but I do really like San Juan. We don't actually really like Puerto Rico, but we do love San Juan. And this is a tableau builder. You're building up your things, and you've got to decide your cards. Do I spend them to build something, or do I keep them to do? And that drives me nuts because I want to build everything. But this is really fun. We've played this so much, and it plays really well 2-player, but it plays well at higher player counts. And we've just gotten so much play out of this. And as I said, this is the mechanic he really likes. So we definitely want to keep one of that type, and I think this is the one that both of us play the most of.
Carcassonne. We got the big box, and the big box went down into a Plano.
Yeah, the big box is really cool, but it's huge for no reason.
And it's got all sorts of expansions, but base Carcassonne is just an excellent tile line game. You put out a tile, you can put one of your meeples on it to claim a road, set up a farm, etc. Other than the farm, everything is really straightforward. But the number of games that we have played with this, and how much fun it is, and how many people dive into this as soon as we show it. It was one of your first hobby games. You didn't believe me that they were cool.
Well, and we don't love all the expansions.
No.
Some of the expansions are just mean or not really, are too complex. But, I mean, it does offer a lot of variety if you were going to play it a lot. It is a table hog, but it looks really cool on the table as you get it done out. So
it does.
Yeah. Okay. This is Ticket to Ride, and we have all the expansions. We're missing one because since I have Markland, I don't have Germany.
You want Germany?
I'm being good. But anyways, we have all the little boxes. We have all the big boxes. And the thing is base Ticket to Ride is really, really simple. But if you play some of the higher expansions, Japan or UK, even the Amsterdam smaller box one, or San Francisco, have quite a bit of thought. Pennsylvania is a stock market game because you're collecting stocks.
No,
and
it has stocks. I would not call it a stock market game.
It adds a lot to it. So this goes from really simple, you have 3 decisions, and really you only have 2. Just every once in a while a third gets put in there if you draw more tickets. That you can teach everyone, the cute little trains, you're putting them out. It's so easy to teach and start. But yet, if you get some of the heavier expansions, you can feel like, I've got some good choices here, and I've got to really think a little bit more. You start buying the technologies in UK, and you're like, I've got to really plan, because if you don't plan, you don't have the right concession, you can really screw yourself over pretty good in that game.
Yep.
So, but Ticket to Ride. This is a game I don't think we will ever get rid of.
I need to go find Heat, Pedal to the Metal. I saw the Days of Wonder. All right, my kitchen sinks game, Rococo. It has a theme that, like, Louis the 15th rules France and has both, and you're building and or making the dresses, selling them, or sending them out there to sell your wares. It's a area control, deck building, action selection, somewhat worker placement, bonus. It's got everything in it, and this is actually my favorite game right now. I need to play it again really soon so that we can have other people play it, but it plays well. It plays relatively quickly. It's not super long for what it is. We can get it done in like 45 minutes. And a unique theme, and it's just fun. It's rare that you get all these elements in one and actually have it work. And this is one of mine that's it. So this is kitchen sink.
Yeah, and you wouldn't think him dressmaking, but it really works for him. And I don't think they redid it with like...
No, they just did it like more modern.
Yeah,
Like-
I like that better.
Yeah.
But anyways, if you want a different one, that's the newest one. Okay, so this is Paladins the West Kingdom, and I really could have went with probably any of the West Kingdom's game.
No, you can't. You tried to cheat.
Well, I tried to convince him that all three of the West Kingdom's games were one game. He didn't buy that. I looked at the North Sea and the West Kingdoms, and then I looked at, we have the first one, Wayfarers of the South Tigris. But at this point, I haven't played Wayfarers enough.
Yeah.
And it's definitely, there's definitely levels. North Sea is easier. I would say this is a nice middle of the road weight. There's a lot of stuff. Again, talking kitchen sink. You feel like you're doing a little bit of everything, but it all works together nicely. I really feel like you get a lot of choice. And I would have been happy, honestly, with Architects, Paladins, or Viscounts. I ended up picking Paladins.
Yeah.
But I think all three are excellent choices. They're nice that middle way. I feel like I've got a really good game with a lot of strategy and a lot of thought, but it's not overwhelming. It kind of is when you first open the box. But once you get it out, it's really...
That's got all the expansions and stuff in it, too.
Yeah.
You got everything.
But, I mean, there's a lot of pieces to it. And so I felt like it was a good game. It's got lots of replayability. It's got lots of variety in it. So, Paladins of the West Kingdom. You can see it over there.
All right. Light tableau building. Gizmos. Gizmos is an odd one we picked up in Homer, and I've loved every minute of it, but everybody I've played it with loves it. They want to come back. It's got this goofy thing where it's a marble dispenser. It's got a line of marbles. Those are the energy you use to buy things with. And you can reach in the top, the bottom, wherever you need to, based on the cards you have. So that you have specific actions, and as you build your tableau, it makes an action do more. And you end up just getting lots of stuff going. And I don't know. It is a engine builder, tableau builder, but I think it is some of the most fun I have had with those. It's just fun. There's nothing fancy about it. It's got some cool gimmicks, and the game works. It's fun.
It does. It's really simple and easy, and it's kind of cool because the cards are, there's 1, 2s, and 3s, but you always have your choices, so you don't end up with a bunch of 3s you can't buy, or like all 1s and you're farther. So it's nice that you always have all the choices. That was a good choice of their part. This is my tableau builder, and this is Wingspan.
Yep.
I love Wingspan.
Birdies.
It's pretty. Again, you can bring anyone in because the theme just is one of those themes that most people, I like birds, and the artwork's gorgeous. But again, there's a lot here, and we have all the different expansions. I don't even think you need all the expansions. I think having at least one is nice just for the variety in birds. But it's just fun. It's easy to teach. It's almost anyone can be convinced to try it, and really it's pretty simple. You've got 3 choices, or you've got 4 choices, because you can play a bird, or you lay eggs, you gather food, or you
draw
get cards.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really it. So your choices are pretty simple, and then as you build up your powers, you get more stuff going on, but even then, nothing's that complicated, so it feels like you're doing a lot, but the rules don't get too complex, so.
Yep, Wingspan. All right, this one I dithered on a lot. So, Star Wars: The Clone Wars. We have tons of Pandemic. We've got the Fire one.
Flashpoint Fire Rescue.
We've got a dice one, but for the for my co-op, I went with the Clone Wars. because honestly, Star Wars is pretty solidly ambiguous for an IP. The pandemic system, it has been around a while, but this one flips enough on its head that it doesn't feel like pandemic. And it's got enough changes, but I think it was fun. So far, everybody who played it has liked it. This is one that also interests me because of the theme, but I mean, it was different enough that it just was pretty amazing. And so if I had to knock it down, this is the one I'm keeping. Unfortunately or fortunately, I think it works really well and is different.
Yeah, it's good, and I think, it's been hard to convince ourselves pandemic. We just can't play regular pandemic. It's not that we don't like it anymore. We're still not there yet.
I'm good. I'll take the Star Wars. Because
he's actually always really loved the dice one, but we'd rather fight in space right now.
Yes.
Oh. This is Quacks of Quedlinburg, and this is My Push Your Luck, and this is just so much fun. Now, we have the Geek Up bits, and they are really, really nice.
I think you need something or coin things to make it work right.
But it's just in the different spell books, you can, as long as you keep changing those up, you do have to continually think about how you're going to do it. But in the end, it's a push your luck. Do I draw another one? Do I risk it? Or do I play it safe and stop and maybe not get as many points? But it's fun, it's quick, it's enjoyable, and it's just, it's just plain fun. And we really enjoy the different thing. It's quick, and it's quick and easy. And that's a lot of what gets played at our table right now is quick and easy. So that's a game that is going to get played.
My basic worker placement. I know. Because this is Lords of Waterdeep, Dungeons and Dragons worker placement. That is an amazing worker placement. And it has a lot of variety because you're able to put out and play buildings. It's got a lot going on. We have the expansions. And it is a solid introduction, fun worker placement. I don't know what else to say. It's catching a lot of hate because it's old, but it still holds up. You're still doing stuff. You're trying to complete quests. Well, that's doing contract work. Yes, I have not done the upgrades so that the wizards look like wizards instead of purple cubes, but it's all right. We just say the purple cube. But I don't know. I think it's a great one. I enjoy playing it. I enjoy playing it in person. So I like the physical one. And this one it's got a lot of wear because it's gotten a lot of play. We use this a lot when someone's interested in fantasy to teach them Euro mechanics and get them involved.
Well, and I will admit that's one game that I didn't think Dungeons & Dragons I'm not interested in playing, but actually I like it. I enjoy it. The theme's pasted on enough that I don't mind that it's thing. The questing kind of works, and so it works for me, and I'm not into that theme, so. I wanted kind of just a straight, kind of abstract something, and so I went with the Zool. I actually think probably my favorite right now is the Summer Pavilion. I like that I can hold it and do them all at once, but Base Zool is good, and it's easy to teach. It hits the table a lot. And pretty much everyone can get it right away. Like the concept's there, it's easy to set up. I can have this set up in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's actually a really big thing for us. There's a lot of games that if I'm gonna have to think about setting this up. I don't have to think about setting this up. And so this is definitely one. And I beat him a lot at it because I like to pull it out at 10:30 at night and his brain's already off. So that's how I win.
You're good at that one. I don't know. I freeze up, I guess. I want a race game. I like race games. There are 3 race games that I love. Downforce, Snowtails, Automobiles. Downforce is incredibly light, plays 6, goes quick. Automobiles is reasonably heavy. There's a lot going on with that. That's a bag builder. So I went middle of the road, and also one that we have to play every year when the Iditarod starts is Snowtails. You're racing dog sleds, and basically you've got a hand of cards and you're trying to set an imbalance if you want to turn or keep your dogs balanced with numbers, but you can only play one number a turn. As many of that number as you want, but you can only play one number. So you got to plan out what you're going to do ahead of time. And it plays 5. It is quick, but it takes a little bit longer to set up than Downforce.
Yeah, you got to set up the course, but at the same time, because you set up the course, it gives you a lot of variability in that course. And it's fun. And there is a lot of thought as you're trying to figure out, I got to go left, so I've got to rebalance my dogs. And then I need to slow down or I'm going to hit these trees, so I've got to put the brake on. Because you actually got 3. You've got your right dog, your left dog, and then your brake. And if they're all the same, you know... You add your speed. You add your dogs, and then you subtract the brake. And so, I mean, you can go nowhere.
Yeah.
And we've seen that happen sometimes when I just need to stop. So, my worker placement. This is actually my favorite game right now, which is Viticulture. And this is my worker.
Is the Tuscany expansion, not the Viticulture box, but yeah.
Yeah. And because he just grabbed one of them. But I love Tuscany because I like the expanded board. We play this a lot. And I can have this set up in like nothing flat at this point. We've played all the different expansions. There's some I don't think we'll ever play again.
Yeah.
But we have played through them all. But there's some I always play with. I love all the different structures. That's usually how he can beat me, is I get distracted because I have to have a structure and I'll keep drawing even if it's not conducive to my endgame strategy.
I have noticed you picked a lot of the ones you beat me at, except for Dominion.
I always lose at Dominion, so... I don't know. I usually use it at San Juan too, I think.
Yeah.
And who knows who wins
Wingspan is not even paying attention.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted a heavy game. And we have not a ton of them, but we have some. And this is the game that got me to like Lacerda's. And we have Kanban, and I really thought about Kanban. We have Escape Plan. I like the theme of Escape Plan. But this is also different. You're an art dealer trying to sell art. It's worker placement, contracts, movement. We haven't played it in a while, but that's because heavy games just don't get to the table that much. But this one is one that I really do think is worth keeping. Out of all of them, I think this one, from what we have, is the one I would keep. And this is a heavy game. It requires a fair, not just physically, fair amount of thought, but you and I can, once we get refreshed with the rules, we get it done in an hour. If it's 2-player. If it's more, we still gotten it done if the person knows in, an hour and a half?
Something like that.
Poof.
Okay, and my last one here is Dice Hospital. This is kind of like my tableau builder. I love how you add the different rooms to your hospital. This is dice, but it's not luck-based because you're picking which dice you want and then you're using them to keep track of your patient health level, but you're not rolling them.
Yeah.
And so this one, there's a lot to this, but it's at the base, it's pretty simple. You've got your patients, you're trying to use your different rooms to heal them and get them out of the hospital, because that's how you make points, is by discharging patients. And there's only 6 rounds. 6 or 8? I think 6.
8.
8, okay. Well, anyways, but you're trying to recruit specialists, or, do I want a new room or do I want a new specialist? And it's really hard because the new specialist brings you a new meeple, which gives you more workers, but you need the rooms to send them to. So you kind of got to go back between them. A lot of times it's like, I want both, and you can only have one.
Nope.
But I really enjoy this. I think
fun.
there's a lot of variety and things, but I also like that being that it's got an end game. It's only got so many rounds, so it doesn't feel like it overstays your welcome. So
it's the Stan. What is it? Stan
Kordensky.
He's actually one of our favorite designers right now. I actually will back anything he puts up on Kickstarter. So between the boys and what we have, though, actually I was impressed with what the boys picked. Like, I really was. We got a Catan in there. We got Minecraft Builders and Biomes, actually, is one of our biggest surprises.
Well, and Draftosaurus. It's just a fabulous game.
Imperial Assault?
Yep. You would have picked Imperial Assault had Adam not.
Yeah, I don't know. Starcadia Crest would have made it, but he picked it though.
Yeah.
And Andrew actually picked some really solid stuff too. I was impressed. So if we ended up going down to 40 games, counting all the expansions and every cheat you tossed into, as a family, I think we'd be set though.
We'd still have it. You know, we've said if we've never bought another game again, we'd be okay. But you know, it's a thought experiment. What do you need and what do you play? And I think what we come down to is we play games that hit the table here have to set up quick. And honestly, usually we play a lot of the lighter stuff because that's what we have the time and brain power for. There's
only maybe 2 games that take a while. Gallerist to set up. And Viticulture can, depending on what you're throwing into it.
Well, yeah, or Paladins.
Paladins can. That's the one I was
Paladins, to me, any of the West Kingdom games and 2 of the new ones at the South Tigers. Take a while to set up. And like once you get playing, they play really smooth. But setting them up and getting yourself, I know where all the different decks of cards are. They all come with lots of decks of cards. And you have to be able to tell them all apart.
Everything else, including Blood Rage, actually is quick. So you're right. We've gone down to quick setup games.
Well, we talked about that. That's what we play. So.
All right. Hey, you know, some people said, "Hey, what's going on? You're not doing enough videos." I'll get these cut up, put them up there, and you guys can tell us why we're wrong in the comments, or why we were wrong and did the challenge wrong. From there. All right. Have a great day. Enjoy your gaming.